Hello, and welcome back to Mellohi, a DSMP podcast. This is episode 5, and today we'll be talking about the continuation of the Llama Berg conflict and Eggpire plot, with the obligatory Ponk mention, how Dream might act once he's out of prison, and our thoughts on Captain Puffy. As always, we'll mostly be referring to the characters by name and specifying when we're talking about the writers, and we're also more interested in analysing the characters, meaning we might get a bit critical of your personal favourite, so don't take it too personally. Okay. So this week we have kind of a guest.
We have a guest? Where?
Do you wanna?
Yeah. Hi. Hi, I'm Danny. I'm Danny or Doodles. Call me either one. I do a lot of art and a lot of crying about the Dream SMP, and you can follow me at Danny to Doodles or at Doodles Alt. And also I have a Twitch channel where I'm streaming daily and dying. So that's also at that's twitch.tv/Danny to Doodles if you wanna join, if you wanna watch me stream and cry about the Dream SMP. And break a glass cup while I'm having a breakdown over character dream lore. Feel free to stop by, watch my streams. It's real fun.
It's a lot of fun. Lots of talks, lots of art, lots of music.
Yeah, lots of music.
Okay, so we did this when we were doing our intros. So, like, how did you get into the Dream SMP in the first place? Like, did you watch someone before it started? Did you hear about it from a friend? Anything like that?
There's a funny story about how I got into the Dream SMP. So, like, I was, like, around the time I was getting a lot more back into, like, watching Minecraft YouTubers. And I started watching, like, a lot of, like, Skeppy and Dream and stuff. So, I was watching Skeppy, and he joins the Dream SMP, right? And that's basically my first exposure to it, was him just talking to Dream, like, just, like, messing around on the Dream SMP and causing chaos.
The table speech?
Yeah, and then I got, like, the table metaphor, and I was just like, that's basically how I got into, like, liking character Dream, where it's just hearing his perspective about the Llama Berg War, where it's like, oh, imagine you invite someone to your house, you allow them to do whatever, but, like, they say, this is my table now, and then you're like, no, that's not your table, that's our table. And that's basically how I just, that was, like, the starting point to my spiral. But, like, man, Dream SMP is weird. I'm still not over my first exposure to it being Skeppy of all people.
I saw the VOD, and I specifically to catch what that moment was actually like, and it was great.
I think, yeah, it definitely speaks to the whole point of view thing that whatever your first experience with the Dream SMP is probably going to have an impact on how you view the story as a whole. Yeah. Like, I definitely came in, like, to Technoblade, so obviously my initial views of the story were like heavily then, influenced by that.
I just got, like, character Dream's, like, explanation about his motives, and I was just like, this Llama Berg is sounding a little bit like colonialism. And that was, like, my entire thing of, like, the Llama Berg War. It's just like, they just kind of walked in, claimed this land, and then told everyone to fuck off. That sounds a little bit sus, in my opinion.
Oh, well, that's what the English
do.
That's what the English seem to do in general, historically.
Yeah.
British reflex. See a place, it is yours now. Okay, did you guys hear about what happened this morning?
No.
It continues to be that the Eggpire / Badlands people are the most mature people on the SMP, and the most immature. It is amazing.
It's beautiful.
Honestly.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The dichotomy of man. I mean, Ponk.
I mean, I think maybe because their actions are based on, like, partially the egg's influence, but also the egg offers them what they want, so they're kind of better at understanding that other people will also do things, like, because they want to, that they'll make bad choices, and because they've been in that situation themselves.
Yeah.
They kind of understand, and they're not going to judge someone too harshly for that.
Yeah. They all kind of just have something they want, and they want to get it.
Are we all caught up on the Eggpire lore right now?
I have caught
vaguely.
Stream.
I haven't watched
That's
any of this.
about as far as I'm caught up.
People were joking about, like, Antwolf's character just being, like, evil little guy, and then he turns out to be the one who's, like, actually
regretful.
guy.
God.
Yeah.
He is
Only
He was
messed
incredibly
up.
guilty.
apologetic.
Like he has depth.
I'm just wondering what the hell the egg offered him.
The egg said, "I can get you a boyfriend," and he was like, "Oh shit."
Oh shit! You want your
Never looked
boyfriend
back.
on the SMP? Just join me, baby.
The egg was like, "I will get you that whitelist."
Or the gay, gay, or the egg.
Okay, so quite a bit, like not like a huge amount, but a good amount of stuff has happened since we recorded the last episode.
A lot of stuff.
Mostly surrounding Quackity and Las Nevadas, with some other stuff with the Eggpire.
Oh, Las Nevadas,
I
my
can
beloved.
update everyone on the Eggpire stuff.
Yeah. So, what did Punk actually do? Because I still haven't heard that yet.
Okay, so Puffy, to explain it, Puffy moved into Foolish's summer home, and she set up the Llama Berg, which took up 2 chunks. And it was almost directly in front of the Supreme fridge. So yeah, basically, Puffy moves into the Llama Berg, and it's almost directly in front of the Supreme fridge. She said she moved in to keep an eye on La Sandberg. And Ponk sees that, hey, the Llama Berg is huge and in front of my Supreme fridge, so he takes down one of the towers for it. It has a sort of like sandcastle formation, like 4 tall towers on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And Puffy sees that Ponk took down one of the towers, and she was also mad at Bad. And so in retaliation, they both went and just took down the entire Supreme fridge.
I have seen like her apology for it, which is like
Yeah, she apologized
like
to
a
Foolish.
really terrible apology. It's the whole like, I'm sorry that my actions made you feel bad kind of apology,
Yeah.
where you don't actually
Sorry that
apologize
you were
for
sad
doing the
about
thing
it.
in the first place.
Yeah. it was
She had a
really
YouTuber
cringe.
apology.
It's like, I made a severe lapse in judgment. I'm sorry my actions
Like
made
it's
you
kind
feel
of like,
bad.
oh god, we're not gonna get a continuation of that plot line for a week
Yeah.
because Foolish is on holiday.
yeah.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
So we gotta wait until he starts streaming again.
Yeah. So Ponk sees it. He reads all the letters. There's a lot of back and forth that Puffy and Bad declared war on him. And he's like, the cycle of violence only leads to more pain and suffering. Nobody wins in war. War is not good. We don't need to fight.
He's
Instead,
right.
I'm gonna sue the shit out of them. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
fucking
let's
rich.
go! Let's
go,
go!
Ponk.
Punk's on his fucking Ace Attorney arc.
Everyone on the fucking Dream SMP is a fucking lawyer, okay?
Yeah, Punk's on his lawyer arc. We're gonna get Big Law back into the equation. Let's go. Let's fucking
He
go.
specifically said Big Law by name.
Fuck yeah, let's
Didn't
go!
like Ranboo want to set up a courthouse?
They have a courthouse
Yeah,
in
he
the
went to
sky
the
that they don't use
courthouse.
that
anymore.
actually happened, but like it was something he wanted to do.
They still have the courthouse, I think, that's like still up in the sky. I don't think they use
Yeah,
it.
Ranboo fixed
No,
it
there's
up
2
too.
courthouses. There's the one that was used in the Exile
Yeah,
conflict. I don't think
But
anyone
that-
ever fixed
that
that.
one was-
You know, the one that where you can drop the suspect into lava if they are too
Yeah.
annoying. This is, of course, a perfectly reasonable feature for a courthouse.
As you do.
Yeah.
And then the one in the sky that was built for the Llama Berg election
Yeah, and
debate.
it's just
There
been
are
there
so-
since.
There's like 3 courthouses. Like, Jesus Christ.
They don't use it. Why don't they use it? This was the. You
They
can
go,
solve
we need
so
a
many
courthouse,
problems.
Like,
and then they
wait,
just build one.
You know, the prison could also like function as like a good way to punish people for like actions if it wasn't run by a fucking weird character Sam. If it wasn't
If
run
it
by
wasn't
character
run
Sam,
by Sam.
It could be used as for good. If it wasn't like
Yeah.
evil, like the fucking prison is just hell on earth.
It could be good. Like it could be like it could literally just have been
I
like,
li-
okay, you go in here for a week.
It's
for
like a
crimes.
timeout box. That's basically
Yeah.
what Dream wanted it to be.
And make it kind of like what people who would Exile would be at the start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, you're being annoying, and you won't stop when we ask you nicely, so just spend a week in a nice
That's
little
it, you're on
room.
timeout.
We get to go into a courtyard every day, and then when your time's up, we'll go out and hopefully you will have, like, chosen to not
Stupid.
be, like, messing with people. Yeah, don't be stupid, don't start trying to kill people or steal from people, or you go back into
Here's how
timeout.
we can reform the prison.
Until you can learn to get along
Prison
with
reform.
people.
Let's go.
Here's how prison reform is still possible.
I'm gonna... First of all, first order of business for prison reform, we have to beat up character Sam.
Yes.
First rule of prison reform: we need to get a warden that doesn't have violent fantasies about killing people and killing their ghosts.
Yeah.
It's funny because the prison is technically under the Badlands rule.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing about it. Like, when they were building the prison for that really huge prison dirt laying stream, they specifically like made a deal because Bad was like, it's right next to my house, I want to protect Skeppy from, you know, criminals that you're going to be putting in here, and they made the deal that the prison can be under Badland rule.
Yeah.
And it was basically like a way to get the Badlands more power. Like, that's part of the reason I think Sam agreed to it.
Yeah.
Like that, and that he got like a stack of diamond
it was-
blocks.
Yeah,
Two
he got
stacks?
rich.
One
No,
and
he
a half
got
stacks?
a stack of diamond blocks, but Dream still paid him like as he was doing it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ranboo with Foolish in the mansion, actually.
Did
Has Foolish gotten paid for the mansion yet?
did Foolish ever get fully paid?
No.
Yeah, I think he
think-
did.
No.
I really don't... Because I've
To be
seen
fair,
people
the
make
mansion
jokes
isn't
about, like,
completely-
Honestly, just
them
like,
giving him an apology.
it's so funny when everyone, you know how there's a whole thing where people get Dream's character and they'll be like, they'll treat it like because, and it actually happens the same with Wilbur's character. It's like, just because this character uses manipulation does not mean that every single thing that they do is manipulation. Because I'm pretty sure I've seen like people calling Dream getting Sam to build a prison
No, he
manipulation. like,
paid him.
no,
He paid him.
hiring
He paid
someone-
him!
Guys, if you hire anyone ever, you are manipulating them. I just want to make this
If he's
clear.
if he was manipulating Sam, then Ranboo and Tubbo are manipulating Foolish into building stuff for them. Carl manipulated Foolish into building stuff
Then
for him.
Foolish
like,
is the most
yeah,
manipulated
it's
person
weird
on the
how people
server.
will label like
H-bomb.
every action he does as manipulation, even if it's like a completely reasonable action or reaction to something.
Money.
Like, it's only manipulation if Dream's character does it. Like,
Yeah.
when he pretends to be Tubbo's friend despite being his enemy and planning to act against him, then it's manipulation. But when Tubbo does the
Quackity's
exact
doing
same
that also.
thing while planning to assassinate him, that is apparently not, because they were
It's the
enemies.
double standards, baby.
And like, do you know understand that they are both mutual enemies,
Yeah.
right?
And also, it, to be fair, I think character Dream probably kind of liked Tubbo as president. Dream probably liked Tubbo as president, right? Because like he was pretty chill with him, like at the start. Like Tubbo was like not doing anything. Like Tubbo wasn't doing anything that like got on his
Mexican
nerves.
Llama Berg arc, he was pretty positive.
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
Tubbo as president when like it wasn't like he was around.
Even with
to hear
yeah,
that.
even with his like his talk with like Quackity and like stuff, and like he was like talking up Tubbo. He's like saying like he's a good president, he's a good leader. But then he finds out, hey, Tubbo's planning to execute you and Techno, and then he's just like, oh,
Damn
fuck me for trusting anyone, I guess.
And also because presumably if he learned that, he probably learned that Quackity was using the Butcher Army and everything. And he was arguably like he was the one in control of that situation. Once
Yeah.
again, I am a Tubbo
My
apologist.
disappointment is immeasurable.
It is like I'm more of a techno apologist, but like Tubbo is fairly close up on that list. But like techno is the character I'm ride or die for,
Yeah,
okay? But Tubbo is pretty high up on that list. And everyone just like goes like, Dream's character manipulated Tubbo and Tommy and Ranboo, even though there's no canonical evidence for that one. Do not treat theories as fact. And then everyone just like ignores the fact that Quackity manipulated the Butcher Army. Like, he pressured
Tubbo, like everyone in
Tubbo.
there.
He compared him to Schlatt to try and like undermine his confidence. Like, he was not being a good guy
He-
back then.
When I think I didn't actually see it myself, but I'm thinking I read somewhere that he convinced Fundy by saying, "You're an orphan, aren't you? Isn't Techno gonna go kill
Oh,
you?"
yeah.
Oh my god. Character Quackity just knows.
I remember that actually. I think I was actually watching those streams. And yeah, he was very much doing
Quackity just
that.
knows like what gets to people.
Yeah. Which brings us to
Las Nevadas? Les
Las
Nevadas?
Nevadas.
Les
Yeah,
Nevadas.
manipulation contests between Wilbur
I fucking-
and Quackity over
I
Tommy.
fucking love that. It was so fucking funny to watch. Like, it's just them just trying to, like, fucking GGG each other. It was great.
And the Wilbur decides to start Llama Berg 2.0.
Llama Berg 2!
Yeah, let me say this. Oh my gosh. I love Wilbur. Like, he's such a fun character to watch, but he's so terrible.
He's such a
like, he was over there.
person.
He was telling Tommy, like, I mean, you can leave me, but
I'm so
alone.
sad and
You don't know what I'm
alone.
gonna do.
If you could
And it's
leave
like,
me, Tommy,
oh my
but if
gosh.
I'd be
He's
sad
putting
and
his
alone
entire-
if you left me.
He says that there's 3 people he cares about: Phil, Tommy, and Jack Manifold, and conveniently forgets he has an
He
entire
forgets his
son.
son, he also forgets
And then,
Nikki.
like, oh,
Just being a
Yeah.
god-awful
I mean, like,
person.
admittedly, Nikki would probably try and
Yeah,
stab
Nikki would
him
stab
if
him.
saw
She
him,
knows,
so.
like, he's a piece of shit.
I don't know how aware he is of that, though.
yeah, also with freaking Wilbur, he had, like, Tommy have to be in control of his entire mental health, and, like, Tommy's like, oh, but if I leave him, will he pull another Pogtopia and start blowing stuff up? Am I gonna lose everything again? Oh, guess I can't leave Wilbur. Haha, yes.
Tommy,
I
please
think a
get
lot of
out of
people
there.
kind of misinterpret their relationship because they're attached to, like, the SBI dynamic
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
that
not.
the content
it's
creators
not a-
have, and they try and project that onto the characters when they do not have the same kind of
Yeah,
relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Like, character Wilbur's just, like, straight up.
And like, yeah, you saw the same thing with like Bedrock Bros and Techno and Tommy, where, like, honestly, like, when you look back on that arc, it was kind of inevitable that they would end up going against each
Yeah.
other.
Oh, yeah, like, they were... Techno was talking about,
Techno
hey,
was
can you
against
do this, can you do
Llama Berg.
this? And Tommy was just sort of just giving him non-responses. It doesn't actually
And,
answer any
yeah,
of
I
these
think-
questions of a positive. And you could tell.
I think like 50% of the bad theories or like the bad predictions in this fandom just come from people who just really want SBI family dynamic to be canon.
Yeah, like some.
And
like
then
some
that
people
clouds their
find
view of the actual
connections
characters.
between characters that don't
Stuff like
really
the other
exist.
reverse psychology theory.
The fucking... Oh,
Like
I
the
hate
whole
that
thing, like,
theory.
oh, Tommy is pretending that he doesn't want Wilbur back so that Dream will revive him. Like, that was
That was
just...
so
It's
stupid.
so
And
They don't
uh,
think in character... Like...
I'm like, no offense to anyone who did believe in it, but when you look at the actual characters and the events, it just does not line up.
That theory fucking, like, irritated me so bad. I was, like, reading it, I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is so out of character. What are you talking about? It doesn't even make sense plot-wise. Like,
You're trying to tell me Tommy's a master manipulator?
huh. I wonder what that's about.
Also, it messes up their character.
But yeah, it doesn't just... even if it did make sense from a character perspective, it wouldn't make sense from a plot perspective, because this is the start of, like, the main plot of Season 3. You want there to be more conflict. You want Dream and Wilbur to be working together, because that gives you a cool villain duo that can go
Or
and
just
do
a-
stuff while also being in conflict with Quackity, which gives you this really fun... And then you've also got the eggs, so you've got this sort of 3-villain setup where characters might work together against foes, because, like, characters who were previously opposed might work against an enemy that they hadn't before, or someone might side with one of the villains of the season. And I know, everything like that is, like, a lot more interesting, and it's, like, the obvious writing choice to take, rather than taking both Dream and Wilbur out of the sort of villain pool.
Yeah.
Like, you want to ramp up the action, you want to have more characters who are acting antagonistically. You don't want to make Wilbur suddenly, like, redeemed and nice because he spent 13 years in hell.
good and now and ooh.
Ah, yes, total isolation. Total isolation is gonna make someone change for the better.
And you don't want Dream to just stay in prison. And hopefully he's getting out soon, because either he will be sad and he will make me sad, or he will be evil and I will be happy because
Or they'll
that
give
is
him a
fun.
recovery arc. My hopes are low for it, but I really want it.
I think we're probably gonna get, like, maybe a semi-recovery arc followed by more, like, a more antagonistic things, and then ideally, like, a proper redemption.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
sort of like my vague prediction. Like, when he first gets out, he's gonna be kind of out of it, because obviously he's been tortured for
Yeah.
months.
And also,
So there'll probably be, like, an in-between time, which can be kind of compared to Tommy's time with Techno after
Yeah.
exile, followed by a bit where he basically kind of goes back to how he was before prison a bit, but obviously changed because of it.
I suggested before an unholy combination of Syndicate and Wilbur and Dream dynamic, because Wilbur, if you remember, Wilbur staying in the Arctic with Techno and Phil. If Techno and the Syndicate in a hopeful situation, they break him out or somehow they get him out, right? Character Wilbur could still wrap his little fingers around him. Just like have him wrapped around his fingers. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna manipulate man's brain and male wife my way through this.
Like how persuasive Wilbur can be. Like even like when Tommy was completely like trying to go against him and arguing with him, he still managed to like reverse psychology into collecting stone from him.
What I want to know is how the heck Dream would leave the prison.
That's what I'm wondering.
There are viable ways, but in the role play, with working within the rules of the role play, there's not nearly as many.
I can only think of two things. Character Michael's plan to force another portal in there. I have no idea if that's gonna actually work, but that's a plan and it's interesting, and I want to see what happens with it. And exploiting the security flaw that was in the teaser clip that Dream
but they'd have
released.
to know about it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm wondering.
I mean, maybe
because
maybe the fact that he got the blueprints made by someone will come into play then.
Yeah.
Or maybe something like when Techno visits, he's able to tell him about a security flaw, and then when Techno leaves, either by like being killed or using an Ender Pearl to get out, an Ender Pearl stasis chamber. He has that information and can come back, and that could also tie into Ranboo's arc with Techno telling him, we're going to break Dream out of prison, and obviously like it's a syndicate, you don't have to help us if you don't want to. Same offer he made to
Tommy
with
destroying Llama Berg. You can either stay out of it or you can help us, and that might drive Ranboo to basically get his memories back.
Yeah.
I want more inner conflict, Ranboo.
And
I want the voice back, but I know it's not coming back.
Yeah, I think he's gonna finally be like, okay, I need to figure out why I helped Dream.
Yeah.
Because
he
something he
had
did
to
used to help Dream.
As the voice says.
He's questioned it before. Like, I think it was actually like way back at like Doomsday, I think. We had the realization that he betrayed everyone except for Dream. Like, arguably because at that point he had no idea that they worked together.
Yeah. I really hope that, like, it's... Do you think Dream would know, like, the difference between Enderwalking Ranboo and Awake Ranboo? Because it doesn't seem like... I don't know if he does. It's very possible he doesn't.
I think he does. Just because of how he had Ranboo hide the disc, like, from himself. But still somewhere that Ranboo would be.
But it could be Enderwalk Ranboo doing that, knowing that he's not going to remember that he's working with Dream.
I mean, wait, no. Didn't Ranboo remember Dream saying, I trust this side of you?
Oh, yeah. It's actually kind of funny because, like, a while, before Doomsday, before we knew most of the stuff, I actually had this whole theory. I think it was, like, actually, I think a few other people had it. But the theory that Ranboo was Dream's spy.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And a lot of people thought it was just because, like, he managed to get his hands on the memory book. But my idea was that a spy who doesn't remember their spy is the best kind, because they can't break cover, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that spy, if someone
as
asks
far
them,
as they're
will
concerned,
never reveal that they're a
they're
spy.
on the enemy's side, unless they're in the state where they're not, until they remember the side that they're really on.
It's all interesting. I can't wait for the plot to give me a fucking aneurysm.
Anyway, back to Las Nevadas. There's a few people joining. We've got Slimesicle, obviously, but now we've got Fundy. Oh, and Foolish. Specifically, Fundy, it hasn't really joined yet, but it's more like he has an open offer to join and is planning to. but he kind of wants to get his own life in order.
Wasn't
Before he does
Quackity the
that?
one who suggested he get his own life in order too?
Yeah, Quackity actually said he
Yeah.
can't join until his life is in order, until he gets his shit together.
And so you have
This
Fundy,
character is just so sad.
who always loses, whose own father does not consider one of the 3 people he likes. Jack Manifold is, God, higher up on the tier list than he is, and he's living all alone
God.
in the woods, and he has like the signboard of things he wants to do to get better, and some of them is pretty mundane, like eat better, go get some diamonds, whatever.
Learn to camp.
Sleep.
Oh God,
Sleep.
no, not the sleep one, not the sleep
Oh
one.
my gosh. Okay, so for the friends one, he said he messaged
It's so
Filza
sad.
until Filza like replied, and then
It's so
Filza said he
sad.
was a friend and cares about him, and so he was like, okay, I'll count that as 2 people, and then he messaged himself like, I'm a
It's so
friend, and was like, oh,
sad.
there's my 3rd person.
Yeah, he's
Filza
so-
showed
so
just
sad.
a tiny bit of care, for Fundy's
But not
well-being,
from
and he's like,
Puffy.
that's two friends.
Oh, honey, we gotta get you some therapy.
And not from the Fiverr therapist.
Fiverr degree. Not from the Fiverr degree therapist.
I don't actually know what Fiverr is, so I don't really get that joke. I just get the
It's
vibes.
Fiverr is like this website where you can pay people like $5 or something to do something for you. And like they made a joke about Puffy getting her degree from Fiverr.
Oh no, I get that.
Her
Yeah.
therapy.
You know, that actually makes a lot of sense.
How does that work? Like, is
It
it
does.
like forged, or is it like someone else's certificate? But
I
she
have
just,
no
like,
idea.
affects their name out and pushing her own in the place.
She paid $5 for a therapy degree. It doesn't even count as one.
No.
That just made that was a one-off joke, but that made everything
Okay,
about
but
her make
this is a
so
real
much
question.
more sense.
With Las Nevadas, do you think Quackity also partially wants to revive books so he can gamble bigger, like gamble canon lives? Because I do legit see that as something he would like want to do.
Yeah, that would definitely be a really interesting thing to do and would make him a lot more of a threat.
God, that's
Which at the moment he isn't really much of a threat. He's like got rising threat vibes, but he hasn't
Yeah,
actually
Las
done
Nevadas
anything
isn't open yet.
super threatening to like a wide amount of people.
So far, the only person.
Like he's done like individual things, like he's blowing up Purple's UFO, he's torturing dreams, stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, you know, the casual
But he's
torture.
never done anything intimidating. You know, like with Wilbur, you got like the TNT at the festival, something where he was you can know that he was completely willing to blow everyone up there up, and it's only chance and bad luck that meant that he didn't. Or you've got obviously Shot exiling Wilbur
Executing
and
Tobo.
Tommy. You've got Dream building up the Obsidian Wolves. All of the villainous characters so far. I'm trying to think of a good example for the
The
egg.
egg with the taking over
Probably Red
people's minds.
Sammy.
Ooh, when it made Sam eat like himself.
Oh yeah, that was pretty scary.
Oh yeah.
when it's self-cannibalism.
All the other sort of villainous antagonistic characters have had a moment that sort of defines, and you can definitely say like they are an active threat now. At the moment, Quackity seems to be like building up his power, biding his time. He hasn't really
Well,
had
I would
that
argue
moment
he's had
yet.
smaller ones, like when he let
That is
Foolish
true.
die.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
When he
blowing up
blew up
Purple with the UFO,
Purple's-
and also he's
yeah.
torturing someone, but they're not like big
It's
moments.
a slow burn kind of.
Like the
Yeah.
egg had people at first actively going to kill them
think-
if they mess with it.
At the moment, the audience knows that Quackity is like being an antagonistic character, but the characters themselves haven't realized it yet.
Except Purple.
So I think at some point, whether it's soon or maybe it's later on in the arc, when he's kind of got more people under his influence, there's going to be a moment where there's sort of like the other shoe drops and people realize that he is not the good guy, the guy who's the hero who saved them from the egg that they thought he was. He's the bad guy now. And they've got to work together to get rid of him.
Again. He has had dreams about Quackity being the bad guy. He has told himself many times how he has to warn himself. He has had these dreams that say, you can't trust him, don't take a steal, do not do what he says, but he's still doing it. And it's like, he is his own Cassandra.
His own subconscious is telling him that not to trust Quackity, and he's still doing it because he's alone, and Quackity is the only person
and he's desperate, and he's so vulnerable. Like, sliding scale of vulnerability to manipulation. It goes from purpled to fucking fundy.
Yeah. Purpled's smart.
Didn't
at least.
take any
failed.
Is shit options.
I'm honestly like really interested in where Purple's character is going to go from here. Because, like, I don't know, is he going to just play a small role? Is he going to play a bigger role? Well, obviously, a lot of that is going to depend on, like, Ryder Purple's, how comfortable he is with role-playing.
Yeah. I feel
he could just be really
going
interesting.
to be involved in Las Nevadas, but, like, I think he'll probably be involved in Las Nevadas eventually.
I can see him maybe filling, like, a trader role in Las Nevadas, where he's working for Quackity but sort of reluctantly, and he's willing to turn on him to help whoever ends up going against him.
Double agent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traders around.
Double agent, fuck yeah.
Because he definitely doesn't like Quackity, but he might end up...
Sus.
It seems fairly likely he'll end up working with him anyway, so I can see an arc or a plot twist like that happening.
Honestly... I'm just really excited for what happens in the future with Las Nevadas, and I hope it doesn't, like, go to shit too soon. Like, I want it to be there and actively be a threat and, like, suck the money out of people for a while. I don't think it's gonna open anytime soon because the bank needs to be built, because they're gonna use the bank money.
I think we're definitely in the very early stages of the arc, where people are only just learning Las Nevadas exists. So the next,
the roads aren't even built yet.
Logical extrapolation from that is that it's going to open, and maybe that's when it becomes more of an open threat. But by then, enough people have sort of been sucked in that they can't just
gamble,
stay away. It's become an actual threat that they can't just ignore.
Yeah, and they're just... Some people are gambling away all their money. Oh, God. Never let me into Las Nevadas. I'd spend all my money. I'd have a borderline gambling.
I don't think I would get sucked in just because I played gambling, really, really close to gambling, just not with real money games, like from way younger than you probably should. And I've always been good with just being like, no, I think I will stop playing.
Quackity wants to make Minecraft a gacha game. And that's how you summarize Las Nevadas.
Quackity read about Genshin and was like, I can do that.
I'm dead. I am dead.
You guys want some Genshin
Tommy's just like, you don't understand, Wilbur. I need to get Venti.
I need it.
It's like the same joke.
Please, let me pull 3 more times.
We said the same fucking character.
I really like those kind of open world games where you can just like run around like these towns and mountains and stuff, and you can kind of make your own story. It's the same thing I do in Breath of the Wild. I've done it in Pokemon, where you just sort of make your own character, and usually they just like to sell like sort of like they end up either being like this trickster who's like sleeping under trees and stuff and is just out for money, or they end up being some sort of eldritch being who doesn't work by the same rules that everyone else does. And it can just be really fun to come up with like your own little stories. Like just with Zelda, Breath of the Wild, like I kept going back to like the story that's like fits within the Breath of the Wild storyline where Link wakes up without any memories, but instead of him going on to be the hero, he just decides to like go off and hunt animals in the snow. But we're getting a bit off topic.
About the Eggpire, I think it's interesting that Ant was arguably one of the people most under the Egg's control, like next to Bad, because Ant never like at least Bad questioned at some points. Ant never had those like questioning moments that we saw. He was always like, yes, the Egg,
give it a
poggers.
Kiss.
Poggers. Maybe my head canon is the Egg was like, hey, you want to be gay and do crime, and then Ant was just like, fuck yeah, I do.
the egg was like, you can be under Egg Clan, and he was like, oh my god.
Oh my god.
Will I eventually be a clan leader? And he was like, yes, you will be known as Ant Star.
But yeah,
and he was like, oh my god.
But yeah, it's interesting because, as you said, Ant might have been one of the least apologetic or questioning of what he's doing underneath the egg's influence, and then we flash forward to now, post-egg, and he is genuinely the one who is the most sorry for what he's done.
Yeah, when he went to Foolish's stream and he came there with no armor, and he was like, I couldn't bear to come here with armor, and he like crouched down and was like, you can kill me right now. I'm so sorry for what I did. Will you ever forgive me? I'll do anything. And he was like genuinely apologetic. And Foolish, I love the character growth, and I love the character, because any other characters, they still would have like held a grudge and been like, ugh. But Foolish was like, no, I truly don't blame you. It was the egg that you influenced you were under, and look, you have your beautiful blue eyes back.
And that kind of fits within, like, I think we previously talked a bit about Foolish. Like, my memory is not the best, so we may not have, but I'm pretty sure we have. And how he's one of the characters that is more forgiving because he's got his whole totem of death past, so he understands how people can change and how people can do bad things and then regret it later.
People change like the tides in the ocean, as a great man once said.
And how that's consistently been shown in how he interacts with characters, even those who have wronged him.
Yeah, it's complete opposite of Puffy's character. I'm sorry, I'm Puffy critical. I apologize. If you guys like Puffy...
I mean, we put a
I'm very
disclaimer
Puffy
at the start
critical.
of every episode that we might get a bit critical of some characters, so don't worry.
This is gonna be me being very critical.
I'm very Puffy critical. She annoys the shit out of me.
Okay, but
Doodles. Okay, I'm writing it down to never invite Doodles.
I'm gonna get cancelled.
One of the things with Puffy's character is like sometimes you can't tell if it's a deliberate writing choice
or not. Yeah, that.
Or if it's just writer Puffy being not that experienced with roleplay. And there's definitely some aspects of her character, like the fact that she's had a lot of like arcs where that had a lot of potential that kind of dropped.
And then
that you can see as like just unfamiliarity with roleplay and not being entirely sure what direction to take her character in.
Yeah. But like the biggest reason why I say like Puffy is the opposite of Foolish is that she does not forgive, or if she does forgive, she finds something else to put the blame on. Like during Ant's stream,
like Ant apologized and she forgave him but put it on Bad.
That's what happened. Like during Ant's stream, well, first off, Bad also kind of does this sort of whole, it's not really my fault kind of thing, but at least he owns up to it, and he does eventually apologize, and I feel like the reason why he doesn't want to apologize in the first place is because he doesn't feel entirely guilty, so he doesn't feel like his apology would be sincere enough, or would be worth it. So he was trying to wait until he got to that point of, I actually do feel really bad, even though I know it's wrong, I actually do feel bad now, and I'm gonna apologize.
That's kind of, I think, a good policy to take with apologies, where you shouldn't make I'm not a fan of like hollow apologies of saying sorry just because you're meant to do that.
Yeah, which is kind of what Puffy did.
I don't think you should apologize unless you genuinely do feel sorry.
Yeah.
And then also have it backed up by the armpit analogy. Apologies are like armpits. Everyone has one and they all stink. Only on the SMP. Where they're having this like character moment, and in the same breath, I don't eat sand, too many calories.
I eat a lot of
sand.
Why
is sand eating a thing? You've got 2 confirmed characters who do it.
I can't.
Is Minecraft sand just canonically edible? Is that a thing?
Like the teeth of a hamster, I had to choose sand or else my teeth will grow too big and puncture my skull.
Oh god.
They'll be too powerful.
But like, yeah. Ant's the only one who's genuinely sorry. Bad won't say he's sorry until he feels like he's sorry. Puffy says she's sorry, even though she's not actually sorry. She says it because she feels like she's obligated to say sorry and to accept forgiveness when offered.
I think Puffy's character is definitely very defined by what she thinks she should do and how she thinks she should act, rather than like actually considering what the right or the wrong thing to do. situation is, and part of that is that she fits herself into specific roles, like the therapist,
The mother, the guardian, the protector, the fixer-upper.
and then when she
does
doesn't
nothing.
live up to the expectations of the title she's given herself, then she tries to shift the blame onto other people.
Like bad,
And then
like
tries
the
to
egg.
take up a new role and see if that goes any better. But obviously it doesn't, because she hasn't recognized properly what she did wrong the first time.
Yeah. It's,
Yep.
So she continues to make the same mistakes.
it's very evident
God, I
in
want
her
someone to yell at
apology
Carrot
to Foolish for breaking down his fridge. It's like she's sorry. He feels sorry. He's bad for like her breaking down the fridge, but that's not why he's upset.
When is character Puffy gonna release her YouTube apology video?
No, yeah. Also with the fridge, she never accepts that she
did something
burnt
wrong.
down Punk's cat's grave. Like, she did that. And even when she was doing it, Bad told her that Ponk had already given him his stuff back, and that's the reason she said she was burning it down. And then she took the corpse, and she says, but I said I would fix it, but that was after he had already seen it. And she's like, well, why did he react that way? Because he didn't, because to him, he had given Bad stuff back, and she just out of nowhere burnt his cat's grave down and stole the body.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
like Ryder Puffy would probably have a lot more fun playing a character that actually is more chaotic
Oh yeah.
and will do that stuff
Yeah.
and just not feel any remorse for
Like
it.
Ryder Puffy is naturally
And I
very
think that might be
chaotic.
part of the problem with Puffy's character,
It's
is
yeah.
that she's trying to play, like, I think a principle that I think is important to think about in roleplay is, if you want to really want to have fun, make a character who would do what you do, but does it for different reasons. Because then you can just do stuff that you would do naturally, especially if it's in a format like the Dream SMP where semi-lore streams are a thing. You can have a character who does what you do, but give them different reasoning and motivation. Like, you might
Yeah,
blow up the community house because it's a fun thing to do on stream, but if you give your character different reasons and motives to do that, you can make a complicated character while still getting to do the stuff that you find fun.
yeah. It's
I
like
think
it's like
one
very
of the-
similar in D&D. It's like very
One
similar
of the
in D&D.
problems with Puffy's character is what the character is meant to be, what Ryder Puffy wants the character to be,
Does
is at
not match
odds
up.
with how she
She acts,
streams and how she acts.
Yeah.
So there's a conflict. That means there's a sort of inconsistency
Yeah.
between what Puffy's character says and what she does.
Yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
kind of rectified by sort of retconning the character into something closer to how Ryder Puffy acts.
Well, it also could. Okay, two things. Like, one, she blew up the community house and then was like, "Whoa, I rebuilt it," even though she was supposed to be like, "Oh, I'm the fixer of the server and I protect everyone."
And she
Yeah,
got
at
upset when
That was
Ranboo
annoying.
pointed out that she blows
but
things
also-
up.
Her hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's a therapist. But also, she could have. It could be like a character thing where she thinks that she sees things while doing things that are completely different, and she tries to rationalize it to herself. Like, her character could just be flawed like that. Like, she's like, "Oh, I'm the mother, I'm the protector," but she doesn't do those
Do
things. She
anything.
just like says it and tricks herself.
Yeah,
It's
into
kind of
believing it.
interesting, and that would make her actually a really interesting foil, because there's a lot of characters like Techno's character who see actions as being far more important than words. So it'd be interesting to have Puffy be a character who sees words as far more important than actions, and is maybe more likely to take people on their word rather than considering what they've done in the past. For example.
Yeah, I think she already kind of does that, but like I think it really helped if you just acted more in line with that instead of like, because like I don't know why, but her like hypocrisy just makes me so annoyed a lot of the time. I think if you lean into that and you're more like aware of the fact that your character is a hypocrite, yeah, you have to lean into that
Yeah.
fact. Like if it like, I think a self-aware character, like a character who does those things, is less annoying if you're like, if that's the point of it. But like if it just like, sometimes it just gets like annoying if they're like completely unaware of how much
Well, you know the whole thing. It's like fictional characters can murder as many people as they want.
Yeah.
But the greatest crime they can commit is being annoying, and a lot of people
Yeah,
find
exactly.
hypocrisy annoying.
Oh, I
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
annoying.
Unless
job
like
is
let's
to
say like Ranboo's
entertain.
character is fairly hypocritical, but you kind of got this
He leans
assurance
into it.
that
He's aware of
You
it.
got you know that it's the point that
That's the point.
that's the point of his character, to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
He's like a little bit self-aware, but of his hypocrisy. It's just
and
that
you
he's
know
like in
that
denial.
it's probably going to
Change,
get
except
turned
the one
on its
person
head
would
when we
need to
learn more
change.
about Underwalking Ranboo with all the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just
That's interesting because it
best part of
creates this
character
whole
writing, just
internal.
lean into a lot of the things. man.
Yeah.
Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
hmm
Also,
And like one of the
Ranboo-
things that makes
Ranboo's
Ranboo's character arc
is,
so
like,
interesting is that it's so much internal conflict.
Yeah.
Also, Ranboo's character is interesting because he's like, yes, I stand for so much. I stand for everyone being able to change, but it's never contested because he never really interacted in a way with people who would have like contrast. Like he was like, everyone can change except Dream. Like who
Yeah.
once Wilbur was gone, once he was locked up, was the only person who like really he knew had something to like change or
Right.
like could have changed. So
Yeah.
he never had to actually believe that. He
Like
could just say it.
nobody ever nobody ever contested his beliefs. But I feel like post-prison Dream definitely would contest those ideals because of how much of a drastic change there is between him before the prison and him after the prison, simply because of the time that like the fucking constant like isolation, torture, starvation, everything that he's dealt with like in the prison arc.
Yeah.
That's like that is gonna make him so much different from like pre-prison to post-prison. Like that is definitely going to contest a lot of what Ranboo believes. It's like people can change except Dream, but like Dream is just so much different from the person.
He
like,
has
like
changed.
the idea that he had of him before the prison, and I guess
think
also with Ender walking Ranboo.
Ranboo
the-
without those memories is really interesting because he definitely allowed his view of Dream to be influenced by the people around him. Because like he met him like twice in canon, right?
Yeah,
And a lot
yeah,
of the time you just
twice.
like saw him talking with other people from a distance.
Right.
But from what we know, he actually Underwalking Ranboo actually talked with Dream a lot, so it's obvious that that's the reason they have such differing views on Dream's character, because one of them actually has the chance to know him, and the other just mostly knows him from
Refuses
other
to.
people talking about him
Secondhand
from
hate.
other people's perspectives.
Yeah,
And it's almost like, you can almost see it as a bit of a metaphor for the whole point of view thing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Also,
Where-
about Ranboo, his ideal is almost contested, but it's resolved like without him having to go through much conflict about it. He says that he cares about sides and like people over sides, and that's contested with Doomsday and all that. But it's solved because after Doomsday, he still gets to like be with Tubbo and be with Techno. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was almost contested, and he almost had to deal with it, but luckily it got resolved without him having to do much about it.
I think that's probably why Dream is just so tied to his story, because like Dream just like is just the pinnacle of something that contests everything that Awake Ranboo believes. And like they also do share the same ideals, like family and no sides, only people. And it's like they there's a reason why Underwalking Ranboo teamed up with him in the first place, and I think that's just because they had the same ideals, and
Same goals.
Underwalking Ranboo was like willing to like actually sit down and like probably understand where Dream was coming from.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should probably wrap up.
Yeah.
Running a bit low on
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, okay. That was a lot of conversation. This is really fun. I really like this.
Look, I just think that because of this banger episode, everyone should leave a review.
Everyone should leave a review, and everyone should follow me on my Twitter. Everyone should follow me on my Twitter, and also follow me on my twitch.tv/DannyTheDoodles and give me a prime. I'm
DA Oh, you have a Twitch? Is it DANNYDEDOODLES?
Yes, it is. It's twitch.tv/DannyTheDoodles.
Oh.
I stream every day. I'm probably gonna stream. I'm probably gonna start up my stream like right after once we finish. So thank you guys for having me on. It was really fun.
This episode won't be posted until Monday.
Thank you for
Yeah, well, I stream every day.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to the 5th episode of Mellohi, and we hope you enjoyed it. You can also find us at Twitter at Mellohi Podcast, where you can ask us questions, suggest future topics, or just get updates about new episodes. See you next time!